It's the new year, better sleep sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $1,000 on top name brands Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Beauty Rest, Purple Casper, and more. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. The only place to use true diagnostic technology to help you find the right mattress for your body. Mattress Warehouse makes it even easier with 0% interest financing, free next-day delivery, and a 1-year lowest price guarantee. Don't miss the new year, better sleep sale at Mattress Warehouse. Welcome to my channel Cheating Story. I destroyed my family, broke the love of my life, traumatized my kids. I ruined everything for nothing repost. I got a lot of nasty messages in my original posting. I guess I deserve that I didn't want it, but my husband suggests that I repost so other maybe can learn and not do the same mistake. I will not use this at Gund moving forward. Apart from the PM dialogues I have with a few select people to help me edit, I've had a PM dialogue with my husband I found out he posted a few days ago. We have agreed to meet later today. I will pick myself up for the sake of my children, and I will fight for my marriage. I know I have no right to, but I refuse to give up.
My heart won't let me.
I will fix myself. I know how broken I am. Reading the comments here was incredibly painful, but thanks to all of you, I have managed to get myself out of bed, and I know what I want to do. It remains to be seen if I am successful, but at least I will try. I don't know how yet, but I will try to figure it out. I don't really know where to begin. I have destroyed my family. My husband is leaving me, and my children don't even want to be in the same room. My sister suggested I post here to maybe get some advice. It took a lot of effort to even type this out. I've been crying for weeks, and I found that I was lying to myself, trying to make myself look better in this story. What hope is there when I can't even be honest to just me all alone by myself? I am in a terrible state, so this is a bit all over the place. Sorry about the wall of gibberish in advance. I am 38F. My husband is 39M. We have 4 children 15 to 8 years, and we have been together since I was 16, married 18 great years. I had an affair. It felt great for a while. Now, in hindsight, I know it was all a delusion, a fantasy. Now I am so ashamed. I don't know the words to even describe it. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Everybody hates me, including my own sister, who is the only person that would take me in. My sister is also a cheater BTW. Her fiancé left her for it. Still, she yells at me constantly, telling me what a piece of S I am. She found out about my affair early on. She warned me I was on a path to disaster if I didn't stop immediately and come clean. I was too selfish and stupid to see that. I was too wrapped up in myself to listen to her, so I refused to stop. She in turn cut me out of her life until she picked me up. My husband started divorce proceedings and don't even want to talk to me. I don't know how, or even if I can fix any of this. He has said he would come and talk to me the last 3 days, but he hasn't showed up. I can't blame him. I hurt him so badly. I broke him, my family, my children, and myself, and I wish so much I could take their pain away and just disappear. All I do is stay in bed, staring at the ceiling, hating myself. Whenever it is quiet, it feels like my heart is trying to escape from my chest. I get panic attacks where I struggle to breathe. I am hardly able to eat. Whenever I fall asleep, in my nightmare, I see my husband's pain in him looking at me without love in his eyes. The therapist I have been seeing believes this maybe started for me. About 3 years ago, my best friend from school died suddenly from cancer. She never married. She was a partner in a law firm and had an extravagant lifestyle. I have always admired her. I have an okay career in marketing and have been a stay-at-home mom for long periods when our children were small. The time at home with my children was the best time of my life. For some reason, I started re-examining my life when my friend died, especially what I hadn't done. I became very critical of myself. I started feeling inadequate. My self-esteem plummeted. I had only ever been with my husband, and I started to resent him for it, like he had denied me romance and experiences or something. In reality, I twisted it around in my head. It was me that actually pursued him. I was the one that wanted marriage and a family. I felt like I should have done better with my life, experience more, done more. Somehow I managed to blame my husband for all of it. I didn't actually talk to him about it. Throat down, I knew it was just stupid. Still, I grew resentful and gradually, over time I would push my husband away. I had no reason at all to feel this way. I had a loving, attentive husband, happy, healthy children, a good job, great sex, life, hobbies, good health, nice vacations, friends, great extended family, good economy. My life was wonderful by most measures. Of course, it wasn't perfect, but whose is? My younger sister got engaged around this time. She had been a bit of a party animal. Growing up and her fiancé was wonderful. I became jealous of her, like her life had been better than mine. Somehow, my sister cheated on her fiancé before they got married, and he left her. She was devastated. She has told me that it's her biggest regret. But it's only now that the shoe is on my foot that I understand her. Somehow I got obsessed with her cheating. I started having fantasies about it, dreaming about it. So about 7 months ago, I started to respond to flirting from a younger, married coworker. It turned into an emotional affair almost immediately. I loved the attention. He knew just what to say. Somehow, the first 2 months was a whirlwind, so exciting, a massive rush. During this time, I neglected my husband and my family. I would deny my husband intimacy, and I treated him very poorly. Somehow I managed to resent him for what I was doing. I blamed him for the guilt I was feeling. Looking back, I clearly see how much I hurt him, that I saw the pain on his face, pain I so easily ignored at the time. I remember how hard he tried to win me back, but at the time, I somehow managed to justify in my mind that what I was doing was my right. I deserved it. In my mind, everybody should just be happy for me. I managed to convince myself that I was entitled to this affair, that it was good for me, and that nothing else mattered. It's turned from an emotional to a physical affair at around 2 months. The Essex was mediocre at best. My AP was a very selfish lover. When it turned physical, the excite and I felt during the emotional affairs started to slowly die off. I kept the affair going. I wanted that initial excitement back, but the more time I spent time with the EP, the less I felt that initial rush. We never had a real or throat emotional connection. It was just pretend. Still, I actually believed I loved him. I was also starting to feel more and more guilty for what I was doing. I took it out on my husband. Somehow I managed to blame him for how I felt and was absolutely terrible to him. Then I felt guilty for that, blamed him for that too, and treated him even worse because of it. Around 2 months into the physical affair, I noticed a drastic change in my husband's behavior. He stopped trying to initiate intimacy. He stopped all the little things he used to do for me. He used to leave love notes around for me to find. Normally, he would be going out of his way to make me laugh or smile. He used to kiss and hug me all the time and make this little joyful sound when he did so. He stopped including me in his life. He would not even engage me in conversation. He used to make my favorite meals on the days I had to work late. Now, he didn't even make a plate for me when he made normal dinner. He would only make food for himself and the kids. I tried arguing with him about it, but he just left the house without even saying a word. I didn't want to accept it. I was in denial, but I know now that he had completely disconnected from our relationship already. The affair with AP deteriorated quickly after that. Still have continued for almost over a month before I finally broke it off with my AP. Strangely enough, I haven't had any desire to have any more contact with him. I started going to individual counseling. My therapist pretty much spelt it all out for me. Still, it didn't sink in. I refused to come clean. I started to desperately try to reconnect with my husband. I was still in total denial. I managed to convince myself that if I acted like the perfect wife, he would come back to me. My husband showed no interest at all, but he would come around eventually. I told myself, I believed the crushing guilt would go away if I could reconnect with my husband. I believed we would return to normal, stronger than ever. He would never know the full truth of my betrayal. I would dress up the way he likes, spotlessly clean the house, try to initiate, cook his favorite food, anything I could think of. Nothing worked. Even if I tried to just touch his job, he would pull away from me. My husband would barely look at me. He would spend a lot of time out of the house. When I tried to talk to him, in most cases, he wouldn't even respond. If he answered at all, it would be along the lines of "I don't care." Then he would just leave, throat down. I knew I had lost my husband, I just refused to accept it. Before this one, ever, he looked at me. There was always this tremendous amount of love in his eyes. He would rest his eyes on me for long periods of time and just lovingly smile. Now, whenever I looked at his eyes, the love was gone, and he would barely even glance at me. Still, I managed to convince myself that we would be all right. Still, I hadn't started to cry. A few weeks ago, my husband was in the kitchen when I came home. He was smiling for the first time in a long time. I sat down, and the rest of the conversation is actually a bit blurry, but I found out my husband knew about the affair almost the entire time. At the end of his speech, he told me we should divorce in such a way that he clearly expected me to enthusiastically want a divorce as well. The reality of my actions crashed in on me all at once. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see clearly. I just couldn't form coherent thoughts or sentences. I don't know how long I sat there babbling, but my sister came and picked me up. She was talking to me in the car. I don't actually know what she said. I think I was in shock. Some days after that, my husband came to talk to me. I had been desperately reading online about ways to fix a marriage after infidelity. I had even prepared a full written confession and a timeline for him. I offered him everything, a post up 100% in his favor, full access to everything, anything he wanted at any time, anything at all, if he would just stay with me. He took the timeline, but he didn't even want to read it. I confessed everything, and for a second I saw the pain flash across his face again, the same pain that I had so easily ignored so many times during the affair. Now, even that flash was unbearable to me. I could see that he was clearly hiding this pain from me. This hurt me even more. He was still being courteous and fair with me, even though I didn't deserve any of it. Sitting there, I finally had to accept that there was no longer love for me in his eyes. The only thing I could see was distrust and disappointment as he argued with me. I could no longer deny that this was all my fault. I'd broken my husband's trust. I had broken him. He used to be kind, considerate, open, full of jokes. This new man in front of me that I created, he was somber, an emotional brick wall, a man that only cared about moving on. He explained in excruciating detail how badly I hurt him, how he would never be the same. Without even blinking, he told me that the love he once had for me had died, killed by my choices. He wants to start dating. He even has a woman in mind. He did want to cheat like me, so he wants to divorce as soon as possible. I can't really understand how I managed to mess up my life so badly. I have destroyed my family, and now my children will have to suffer through divorce and the pain of growing up in a broken home. At some point after that, I fell unconscious and I woke up in the hospital. My sister was there, but my husband was not. That devastated me even more. When I came to, I started calling everyone, confessing what I had done. I called the app's wife, his parents or friends, my employer. I resigned as well. Basically, I called everyone I could think of. Everybody hates me now, and I deserve it. Still, my husband isn't talking to me. I destroyed my family, broke the love of my life, traumatized my kids, and for what, some cheap thrills. I don't understand how I could do this. Can I get my husband to talk to me? How can I even ask him to do that? How can I ever face my children again? What do I even say to them? I desperately want to repair this. But how could I even start? Is it even possible? I am completely lost. I don't know what to do. I don't see any way out.
Comment 1.
I know the story from your husband's perspective and have to say reading it from yours is even harder, not because of your suffering, but rather because of how little you cared when you saw your husband in pain during your affair. In my opinion, of marriages built on love, trust, and respect, if your husband will ever be interested in you again is something no one can tell you. But if you want to fight, then you have a tough, uphill battle to fight because you will have to do things that might seem illogical for you. Start with working on showing him that you can respect him again by accepting whatever he tells you. He now needs distance from you, and if you reach out to him again and again, then you don't respect his wish for distance. Tell him that you are available when he wants to talk, but leave it to him to reach out to you. Don't fight him on the divorce. If he needs that, then let it happen. Respect his wishes. That is the best way to show him that you maybe found your respect for him again. Comment 2. She took out her own guilt on him, making his life miserable. Man, my message to my fellow eligible straight men out there: why bother anymore getting serious or taking any one of our C underparts seriously or ever settling down? Look at the pool of what we have to deal with, and don't give me that excuse that this is a rare bad case. Her attitude, philosophy, and misery-making based in her empowerment that we all hear for the fair Rex. Now, a day's weeks of what prevents society today. The number of good ones are now statistically insignificant in number available to really bother trying. Don't you think, my fellow eligible straight gentlemen, it's going to take an entire turnover for more of us, not accepting this anymore from maybe Gen Z to turn it around? You can do everything right and be close to perfect this side of heaven, and she'll not only betray and destroy you, but literally make him suffer more because of ID. Don't trust anymore. Just don't love yourself first. Unless you have children or pets, then only then can you love someone else other than yourself. Edit autocorrect comment 3 brave post. Sorry you got lambasted, flamed by a bunch of people. Supposedly, you came to this for him to confess that you hurt yourself badly, and perhaps ruminate how you hurt others. I don't see what severely criticizing you in a hurtful manner accomplishes. Hopefully, you have helped others not make the same mistakes, poor decisions. Actually, you have tried to turn lemons into lemonade, at least for someone else. I am sure writing this has been therapeutic for you, and I hoped it helped. Very brave of you to out yourself to your friends and family, except your children. Of course, that is cowardly. You said everybody hates me now and I deserve it. That is not accurate, and you know it. Lots of people are mad at you, lots of people lost respect for you, but then you'll get over it, and you know that as well. Many people have commented that you seem to be supremely self-centered. I tend to agree. Everything is me with a little husband and children sprinkled in. However, based on your post from your own perspective, it is quite possible that your true intentions are unintentionally obfuscated, meaning you're not continuing to be self-centered, etc. Your communication is not coming out the way you really mean it or the way you really are. It sounds like you need to face up to what you are or have become. It doesn't sound like you are. 1. It does appear as though you are or have become a self-centered narcissist. 2. It appears as though you are supremely manipulative and pretty good at it. 3. It appears as though you are weak-minded for letting the popular thoughts of the day make you feel entitled, etc. And for not thinking through the consequences of your actions, and even if you did, you failed to control yourself enough to avoid severe self-harm. Thinking that being a successful female attorney who is dead is better than having healthy children in a decent, but less exciting lifestyle. Did you ever think of the sacrifices attorneys have to make in order to be successful? Painful 60-hour weeks with a troubled marriage are the norm. How could you not know this? For it sounds as though you just want to ensure your meal ticket husband doesn't leave you with less freedom to have your cake and eat it, as well as stability, disposable income, etc. 5. It appears you are an accomplished manipulator. When you want a specific outcome, you have used the man piloter's jawbook to fix your situation, e.g., self-induced health crises. Yes, these mental breakdowns are frequently purposely self-induced. Outing yourself for public ridicule, etc., shirking truly difficult actions for damage control, not telling your children. 6. Using this forum to convince your husband that you are serious, at least at this moment. I hope these appearances are incorrect. However, I suspect they are correct, at least to some degree. If they are, and you don't fix these issues, you'll be right back in the same mess in the future. From what I can tell, your husband has taken you back. I hope you can make this work. For some strange reason, today, many women in our society lose interest in their husbands when they take on their spousal duties and take them seriously. They are no longer the alpha male they respected and admired when they first started dating and married them. True men rise to the occasion and become the responsible adults that love, provide for, and subdue their passions, expensive cars, freedom, and other stuff for the benefit of their wives and children. Unfortunately, that is not as zio or exciting to most women today, so they are judged to be beta males who deserve to be cheated upon because they are whims, when in reality that exact opposite is actually true. It is way harder for a man to be a good spouse and father than it is to be a footloose, fancy-free, irresponsible guy who can spend money on himself, his toys, and indulge in any passion he wants to, including multiple ladies in his life, etc. Unfortunately, him taking you back has confirmed in your mind that he is the very beta male you specifically cheated on. This is a formula for a second round of cheating in the not-too-distant future. I hope I am wrong. Best of love comment for reality check. You want to save the marriage for you? How does keeping you a personification of the pain he has endured for months in his best interest? You are panicking and doing whatever you think will give you the outcome you want. I will fix your questions, so the answers will actually benefit your family. Can I get my husband to talk to me? How can I even ask him to do that? Should be, how do I interact with my husband to help him heal from the wounds I have inflicted? Stop the manipulative attitude. Show remorse through your actions. Work to make his life easier, meaning a quick and painless divorce. Contact should be minimal, civil, and solely about the care of the children. How can I ever face my children again? What do I even say to them? Should be, how can I support my children in healing from the wounds I have inflicted on them? Your husband addressed this in his post. He was worried about the emotional health of the children and exploring ways to get them therapy and support. All you seem to be worried about is getting your attention from them? If giving my husband full custody with supervised visitation is what is best for them to heal, that's what you do. I desperately want to repair this, but how can I even start? Is it even possible? Should be. I desperately want to help my family heal from the damage I have caused. How brutal but age-appropriate honesty. Let them know who you are, and that it is you, not them. I see to fix yourself now, minimal contact until you finally accept your issues and can confess them to your family and fix them. Attempting to repair the marriage only serves you, not them. By pursuing reconciliation, are asking them to endure the pain and keep their wounds open to ease your conscience. I am completely lost. I don't know what to do. I don't see any way out. Should be, my family is lost due to my betrayal. How do I help them move on for me? See above? Minimal contact, and I see until you fix why you did this to them. Everything, and I mean everything you think, do, and say should be focused on your family's healing. Trying to manipulate them into doing what is best for you is worse than the original betrayal. Comment 5. First, I don't want to be mean, but what did you think would happen when you cheated? You betrayed not only your vows and husband, but your children. Cheating should be classified as abuse. The simplest vow in the world, fidelity to one's partner. You violated. In doing so, you betrayed your children and family. Personally, I don't trust cheaters if they can't be trusted in the most basic of vows. How can you be trusted with, say, client information or financial info for a company? What you would never violate the trust of confidentiality. What about your marriage vows you made? You had a chance and blew it. I think your kids may grow up to hate you. The only chance to get back together is for you not to bet hop after the divorce, for you to be completely open. But personally, I think it is too late for that. I am sorry. I feel bad for you, but you made multiple choices and decisions to violate and disrespect your husband and children. I feel worse for your husband and children. They may never forgive your betrayal. There will always be a little resentment towards you. There will always be a wall, and your children will wonder always what they did to make you hurt them like that, or if they can never really trust you again. Again, not trying to be mean, but that is the way I see it. I am not very religious. More spiritual than religious, but most religions have prohibitions against adultery. In the ancient polytheist religions, Norse Greek native religions, one of the most honored and respected gods/goddesses is the ruler of the hearth, home, and fidelity. Also, it sounds to me that if the physical part had been better, you wouldn't really care that you were divorcing. I think your AP also doesn't want to leave his wife for you, so the affair fog was breaking for you. But you mentioned mediocre intimacy twice. Comment 6. It's interesting to get both sides of the story, and yet you still don't seem to get it. You're still whining about your pain. Fine, but you ignored your husband's pain and even blamed him for causing you to feel guilty. Day by day, you tore his love for you down, piece by piece, until there was nothing left. And then he goes and finds someone else to love, not just hook up or have a fling, but love to replace what you destroyed. Think about this. What if the roles were reversed? What if he spent 7 months cheating on you, degrading you, tearing you down, blaming you for everything that went wrong. How do you think that would make you feel? I haven't seen any sign of you reflecting on that, probably because you're still caught up in your own selfish wants. I cannot even say needs. You lack empathy, you lack maturity, you lack character. Can you see now why your husband doesn't want you anymore? The one person he thought he could trust above all others stabbed him repeatedly in the back for months until he gave up and mentally and emotionally left the sham of a marriage, and you still want to see if you can fix this. Your husband already said it's over, so now you have to accept it and move on. First things first, take care of your kids, even if they hate you. Next, work on yourself. Keep going to therapy until you can figure out why you decided. Yes, you decided to cheat, then work on fixing that. Then see about finding another job. Exercise, so you can stay healthy. Maybe after all of that, then you can think about dating again, and maybe you can be really faithful in going forward. Comment 7. There's an old saying I grew up with. For a situation such as you've created, you won't get rid of the ghosts you've called upon. Just another way of saying you've made your bed, lay in it. Well, I'd be a robot if I'd say that I didn't feel any feeling of gratification over the pain you are now reaping as you've sown it. Karma is slow, but when karma is on your doorstep, karma will slap you so hard you don't know what hits you. You keep asking an impossible question. How can I fix what I broke? Short answer, you can't and you shouldn't. Your STBX saint wants to move on, and is decent enough to close one chapter your marriage before he moves on and meets women who actually care. Isn't it amazing? You've hit everything, literally everything, but you chose to destroy everything for a mediocre sex with an ape. Bravo, 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 standing ovations for the best price in play stupid games and win stupid prizes. I truly can only shake my head in disbelief that you still don't own the matter you're solely responsible for. So that being said, I hope you'll find a man who cares once your divorce of your perfect life is final. Maybe go back to the AP and be happy to dwell in mediocrity would serve you well. Commentate, I have read the post from your husband and now yours. This is the second story, where the perspective of the cheater is worse than the perspective of the betrayed. This is not you making a mistake. This was you making a decision that cheating on your husband was something you was going to do. But I will say this, I've never heard a story where a WS was encouraged to cheat by hearing the story of someone else cheating and how their decision brought devastating consequences. Like, I don't know what part of your sister's story about her infidelity told you that cheating was a good idea or something that you needed to do. But whatever the reason, you're here now and there's nothing you can do to undo it. I also find it hard to believe that everything happening was such a shock to you. I mean, you heard how your sister was dumped because she cheated, so I don't know why you were so surprised when your husband is doing the exact same thing your sister's ex did. The sad part was when the affair wasn't exciting, instead of stopping, you kept on going and any guilt you felt was projected negatively on your husband, who stayed faithful to you and only loved you. Now that his demeanor changed to not caring about what you did, you thought that you can do all these good things while still lying to him and yourself. You want to fight for your marriage because your heart wouldn't let you. Well, where was that energy when you saw how sad your husband was? Where was that energy when you felt all in your marriage? You only wanted to fight because the reality of you losing your husband and your marriage was slowly becoming more and more possible. Otherwise, you would have kept cheating. I'm not saying these things to hurt you, but if I'm being honest, I don't know if I have it in me to sympathize with someone who would rather hurt her husband than admit guilt. You need to let your husband go, and let the marriage die. You're just hurting both him yourself. If he wants to build a new relationship under a different foundation, then he will come to you. But right now, I truly believe any hope of you fighting for your marriage was gone the moment you decided that keeping the affair alive was more important than keeping your marriage alive. Right now, your priority will have to be your kids, so stop sulking and get your shit together. You messed up your relationship with your husband, so you have to make sure you still have a relationship with your kids in the end.